Man. The referee for this one is Cameron Worsley from Castleford. He's one of the part-time Grade 1 referees, and he puts whistle to lips, and we are up and away here at Bardacard Hudsall in the Challenge Cup as Bradford and Doncaster meet in one of the main Challenge Cup fixtures, knowing that 80 minutes of knockout rugby league will decide and confirm the identity of the side that will host Super League side Castleford Tigers in 2 weeks' time. So strap yourselves in for an afternoon of fascination and impending delight for the Bulls or the Dons, and immediately it will be one of those big players from the Doncaster side, Sui Matage, charging the ball in, and he's brought down there in a two-man tackle led by Manny G and James Donaldson. They're 10 metres shy of halfway here, Doncaster, and they're on the fifth and last tackle, so it'll be Connor Robinson who will put boot to ball. That one will bounce into the in-goal area, over the dead ball line. Tom Holmes tracking and allowing that one to roll dead. So wherever you are in the world, let's see what happens here at Bardacard Hudsall. Bradford Bulls against Doncaster in the Challenge Cup. And Doncaster have had a good, clean, set start to kick off proceedings here. Bradford will have the extra tackle from the 20-metre line, and it will be the former Canterbury Bulldog man, Jayden Okinbaugh, on what is zero tackle, and he's 20 shy of halfway in centre field. Suter out of dummy half, finds Tafua on that left-hand edge, and he will be brought down by 3 hungry blue-shirted Doncaster shirts, 10 shy of halfway, 10-metre carry there from the former Manly Sea Eagle, as we see a big, strong, powerful carry and surge there from Eben Skur. He'll get to his feet, he'll play the ball inside the Doncaster half, and here goes Suter sniping straight out of dummy half. He's 30 metres out now from that Doncaster try line with a tackle remaining as Keys takes the line on, looks for support, twists, turns. Bradford on tackle 4. They're 18 out underneath the Doncaster post as Donaldson moves the ball to Meadows to Wonga Blake, and Blake's wrapped up underneath the post, 10 metres out. Last tackle, quick play the ball, Suter to Donaldson. Donaldson takes the line on, and Donaldson, has he got there? Yes, he has. Bradford are going to open the scoring on their first set of 6, 90 seconds into this game this afternoon. And it is James Donaldson who returns to the club where it all started for the Cumbrian-born forward. Happy to sign a 2-year deal, and he is excited to be able to use his experience and leadership to hopefully help Bradford build towards the Super League in 2026. And that was a very, very strong statement of intent by Brian Noble's side. Doncaster not able really to deal with the forward power of Okinbaugh on the zero. Then it was Tafua, then it was Skur. Wonga Blake was involved, and in the end, from 10 metres out on that power play, James Donaldson taking 4 Doncaster players over the try line, and this is just the start that Lee Greenwood and Brian Noble would have asked for and wanted. Bradford 4, Doncaster 0. The kick will come from Keys, and it is Bradford 6, Doncaster 0 here on West Yorkshire Radio. Syndicated coverage on Bulls TV this afternoon. 3 minutes, barely time for those late arriving supporters to go in the main stand and take their seats. But it is Donaldson, the conversion by Keys. Bradford leading here by 6 points to 0 right at the start of this game. Well, does that heighten expectations? Certainly. Bradford's forward power, and we mentioned the display, the physicality. That will be absolutely crucial for Bradford making the meters to allow Keys and Meadows and Holmes to play off the back of that big forward, powerful pack. As we said, Bradford 6-0, and they're already on the restart, heading towards halfway here at Bardacard Hudsall as Wonga Blake plays the ball on this main stand side. Now it's going to be Meadows to Keys, and Bradford find themselves on halfway here as Paulie comes in, puts a big clattering hit there as Michael Lawrence will just carry Bradford just inside the Doncaster half on tackle number 4. So if you are just joining us, James Donaldson, the perfect homecoming, the perfect return, as we see Fulton drawing the defence, offload the ball. Keys flicks it out to G. G's going to be brought down just outside the Doncaster 20. And now Bradford are going to be inside the Doncaster 20 here with Michael Lawrence. Well, Bradford have been given the set restart because Doncaster are just laying on in the tackle here. So Bradford, 15 out, looking for back-to-back scores as Keys finds Meadows. Meadows to Holmes. Holmes to Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh comes up with the error. The referee's going to say scrum, head and feed, though, to Bradford. They're going to say Ockenbaugh, it come off the boot and it went forward towards the Doncaster line. It wasn't a knock-on. And unfortunately for Richard Horne, Brad Hay, the former Batley and Hunslet man, he has knocked the ball on. And that is the loud cheer in the background. It is because Ockenbaugh, rather than trying to stoop down and pick it up and make a meal of it in the inclement conditions here, he just towed it forward. And he forced the error from Brad Hay. So back-to-back sets here. We've had 4 minutes gone on the clock. 10 metres out underneath the post. It goes from Souter to Meadows. Meadows wrapped up there by McConnell and Sutcliffe over on that left-hand edge. Out of dummy half from Souter. Now to G. A lot of experience, Matty G, former Salford, London, Hulkeston Rovers, Halifax, back row forward as they go across the post here now with Keys to Meadows, to Fulton. He had a very good start to life at Bradford last season, did Zach Fulton, 14 tries last season for the former Manly Sea Eagle, as Souter now finds Lawrence, and Lawrence is going to be held up a metre out underneath the Doncaster post there by Greg Burns, as they move it once again towards Fulton, and Fulton is going to breathe down the neck of Connor Robinson, and that was very quick, astute thinking from James Meadows. He kicked early on tackle 4 into the in-goal area, and Fulton very nearly getting Bradford's second try. And I'm sure Brian Noble and Lee Greenwood will be absolutely delighted that Bradford have forced the goal line dropout. As always, when you're in those good ball positions and good ball territory, if you can't get the 4 points or force a penalty, force the goal line dropout, this will now be Bradford's 4th consecutive possession here. We've had just under 6 minutes gone on the clock. And it is West Yorkshire Radio, also syndicated coverage on Bulls TV with myself, Mick the Game Caller Gledel, as we see Souter now towards Sker. Sker, one of the sole homegrown player in the Bradford side this afternoon, as we see Donaldson now to Meadows. The Fijian flyer, Wonga Blake, steps back on the inside. He will meet Paulie head on. And he's wrapped up 15 out. Just to the right-hand side of those Doncaster posts as the floodlights start to illuminate the Odsalt playing surface. And Joe Keys was looking to illuminate the Bull supporters as he took the line on yet again. And we now see Donaldson beats 1, beats 2. Donaldson towards the corner, but Brad Hay wraps him up, grabs hold of the coattails. They're on the last tackle here, the Bulls. Souter into that in-goal area again. Connor Robinson perfectly poised and placed. Dealt with that mid-shooter grubber, and Doncaster back in possession at long last. A relieving possession for them, but on tackle 2, after Lawrence and Meadows bring down Paulie, they are still 10 metres out from their own try line as we see Beretta Farrimore carrying Doncaster just outside the 10. Robinson goes in there at dummy half. Sui Matage is going to be brought down just outside the 20. A good strong carry and drive forward from him as Donaldson alert and effective in defence there with Mitch Souter, as we see Doncaster now on what will be the last tackle, still 30 out from their own line, so they're deep inside their own half here as we see Burns gives the ball there towards Hall. Craig Hall drills it straight into touch, and he's at a 40-20. The officials are going to confer. Cameron Worsley looks and says yes, 40-20 by Craig Hall. So Bradford just a little bit asleep there defensively with their structure. They weren't alert to that one. And immediately, Richard Horne's Doncaster side, after doing a lot of defending early doors, they'll now turn defending into attack after that 40-20 from Craig Hall. And we're now going to see the back row forward, Alex Sutcliffe, take tackle number 1. He's literally underneath the Bradford post here as Burns, a sloppy, scuffy pass along the floor. Doncaster will lose a little bit of momentum there, but they still have possession. Here goes Robinson to Jacob Jones, one of the 3 Doncaster players on debut this afternoon, signed from the Lee Leopards, played the full season on loan at the London Broncos last season, alongside Emmanuel Waney and James Meadows, and Doncaster have come up with error number 2 of the afternoon. Jacob Jones not playing the ball correctly, according to the match official Cameron Worsley. So Bradford have maintained that defensive resilience, and they have kept Doncaster out from troubling the scoreboard operator right at the start of this game. As we said, Bradford, 6 players on debut this afternoon. Wonga Blake, James Meadows, Joe Keys, Matty G, James Donaldson all starting. When Ronan Michael comes on, the Ireland international, the former Huddersfield Yorkman, he will complete the 6. Bradford just outside their own 20-metre line here. Good defence though from Riesling and Ben Johnston. They're going over on the short side. Riesling and Johnston coming again, so good marker defence. Bradford 5 shy of halfway on tackle 4. There'll be 1 left to Fua in there at dummy half to Keys. Keys to Skur. Skur goes straight towards Sui Matangi, and the Kiwi has to wrap up Eben Skur on what is the last tackle. So Keys kicks into space, but finds Hall from the Doncaster 10-metre line. The rain's still coming down here. It is a very wet, inclement Bardakan Odsal Stadium. Just the main stand and the hospitality stand open here for this one, but it looks a very healthy 2,500 to 3,000-ish crowd as we see Doncaster now moving the ball out of their own 20-metre line with their scrum half, Connor Robinson, having to try and evade the clutches there of Zach Fulton, Michael Lawrence and Wonga Blake. It is Bradford 6, Doncaster 0, and Bradford have conceded a penalty. They're offside inside the 10. Referee Cameron Worsley pointing at James Meadows there. So this will help Doncaster, and it will advance them into the Bradford half of the field. We've had exactly 10 minutes gone here, but the big story inside 90 seconds was Bradford's first set of 6 from their own 20-metre line, with James Donaldson crashing over. 6-0 the Bulls lead, but they've got a bit more defending to do here as Doncaster, they'll tap the ball and it will be Burns to Hay. Hay brought down there by Fulton underneath the Bradford post there, 5 metres out as they move it over on the far stand side with Johnston to Sutcliffe. McConnell also involved in that move. They're still 5 metres out. Craig Hall goes in there at dummy half, a former Hull FC, Hulkeston Rovers man. He'll now front up and he'll give it there to Louis McConnell, the former Leeds and Featherstone man. He's rolled over underneath the post by Eben Skur. They're still 5 metres out here as we see Sui Matangi find Robinson to Hall to Hay. Wonga Blake goes straight for the legs of Hay and he wraps him up 8 metres out. Doncaster back outside the Bradford 10 here as they come charging in with Paulie. A lot of experience from Paulie, the Australian, the former Parramatta, Newcastle, Wakefield, Salford man. They're on the last tackle. Burns pinches one from dummy half, and Greg Burns, he will equalise and potentially level this Challenge Cup tie-up. It was on the last tackle. It was on the power play. There's 4 or 5 Bradford defenders in and around the ruck trying to bring down Paulie, and that created a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a space. And I think when Bradford watched that one back, Wonga Blake, Mitch Shooter, Tom Holmes, James Meadows, not really alert to the danger there from Greg Burns. And it is Greg Burns, the former Sheffield man, 4th season at Doncaster. He has potentially levelled this one up. And we've just seen the importance, as Richard Horne said pre-match, about the discipline. He wants his Doncaster side not to concede those penalties, not to concede those set restarts. It's Doncaster who have benefited from Bradford's ill discipline, which has taken Doncaster over the Bradford line. So Bradford 6, Doncaster 4. Chance for Connor Robinson to attempt the conversion attempt right on this main stand touchline. So Donaldson and Burns exchanging tries early doors here. And Robinson, a very, very difficult assignment right on this main stand side. Kick predictor turned on. It says 62%, and that one has gone across the face. Bradford still lead here, but it's down to 2. It's Bradford Bulls 6, Doncaster 4. Donaldson and Burns exchanging those early tries here on West Yorkshire Radio. And it's 6-4 to the Bulls. Perhaps a little bit of a lesson, a little bit of a learning curve there from the Bulls about the importance of that discipline as we await the restart here with Bradford still in front. But Richard Horne will be absolutely delighted that his Doncaster side have shown that tenacity, that dexterity there from Burns to capitalise on some very exposed marker defence so close to the line from the Bulls. So 6-4, Bradford lead Doncaster here in the Challenge Cup. It is a bitterly cold afternoon in the depths of January as we see Paulie now carrying Doncaster up to their own 30-metre line. Once again, Burns with that black scrum cap gives it to Hay. Hay's going to be brought down in a two-man tackle. Meadows and Lawrence in defence there for the Bulls. They come down the middle with Louis McConnell, the loose forward, wrapped up there by Donaldson and Souter. Doncaster have made it to the last tackle after points on the restart. So referee Cameron Worsley, arm in the air. Craig Hall drills the ball towards Holmes. Holmes shifts across, deals with it on the 10, and he's wrapped up 15 out from his own try line on tackle number 1. So 14 minutes gone here, and there we go. Tom Holmes coming up with the error. Not able to make it to tackle 1 and play the ball, and that is down to that enthusiasm and hunger from that kick chase Doncaster defence. And we said in the pre-match amble, if you joined us ahead of kickoff here, it might even come down to the weather's a great leveller here this afternoon, with the greatest respect to both sides. It could come down to ill-discipline with both ball in hand, an error, or as we say, ill-discipline in terms of foul play, encroaching in the 10, holding down in the tackle. Doncaster, can they get some more points on the board here? 15 gone, Bradford 6, Doncaster 4. As we see Beretta Farrimore move the ball in field. A bit of a risky pass there, but Doncaster maintain and hold possession. Burns in there at dummy half, 12 away from the Bradford line as Paulie takes free. Bradford defenders with him. Lawrence and Skur are two of those. And once again, they're in sight of the Bradford line here at Doncaster as Ben Johnston slips. He was about to take the line on and go on an angled run, targeting Gill and Tafua. But Doncaster, a tackle remaining after this one with Sui Matagi taking the line on. And they find themselves on that fifth and last tackle, 8 away, underneath the Bradford post. Robinson crossfield kick, targets Tafua. Doncaster have possession, but they have been held up short. And that was great play there as we saw Adine Gebe, the close season signing from Whitehaven, the PNG international, who was scoring a lot of points up at the recreation ground last season. Nearly a try every appearance from Adine Gebe there. You can see why Richard Hunn and Doncaster wanted to bring him to the Keepmoat Stadium. But with 16 minutes gone here, it's a real titanic attritional tussle in the Odsal mud here. Throwback to the Peter Fox, Doug Lawton days as we see Kieran Gill, Bradford's leading try scorer in the last three, come up with another error, and all of a sudden Bradford are just putting themselves under undue pressure here, and that is once again down to that fierce Doncaster pack. And Kieran Gill looks to have gone down here, and the referee will call time off as the Bradford physios will come on the field. So a fourth error now by the Bradford Bulls inside the opening quarter. Very difficult, unless you're watching this one on the vision, to see just how tough and difficult the conditions are for the players. Ultimately, as we said, it's going to come down to who wants it more. So far, Doncaster just that little bit more infused, being a little bit more physical in defence. Kieran Gill still down, might have to leave the field here with a HIA, but he will get the all clear from the Bradford doctor and the physio. And Doncaster in prime field position once again. 30 metres out now from that Bradford try line. A fresh set of 6 here. If you are just joining us, just shy of 20 minutes gone here at Bardacard Odsal in the second round of the Challenge Cup. James Donaldson opening the scoring inside 90 seconds. That's been cancelled out by Greg Burns. It's Bradford 6, Doncaster 4 as Craig Hall takes tackle 1 from the base of the scrum. Burns now. Louis McConnell, the former Featherstone and Leeds youngster, made his Super League debut for Leeds back in 2020. Louis McConnell gets to his feet, he'll play the ball. It's going to go from Beretta Farrimore to Sui Matagi. Matagi doesn't want to take the tackle, so he'll give it to Paulie. And Paulie's playing the ball 15 out. underneath the Bradford posts, and all of a sudden it's those blue-shirted Doncaster players that are surging forward here, asking questions of Bradford's defence. Asui Matagi finds Robinson. Robinson now to Farimo, and he's going to put a bit of a fend in there, but it's Fulton and Lawrence who wrap up the experienced winger. They're on the last tackle here at Doncaster. Robinson, crossfield kick, looking for Adine Gebbie again. It's a bit of a lottery, but Kieran Gill's done well, and he turns defence into attack before he's absolutely monster munched there by Paulie. He was looking to hair away, was Kieran Gill, the former Newcastle Castleford man, and now referee Cameron Worsley has lost a little bit of patience with Doncaster. They're offside inside the 10. Greg Burns penalised by the young Castleford official, and that will be Bradford's first penalty of the afternoon. And Cameron Worsley, no secret, he made his championship debut back in 2019. Last season, officiated Bradford 5 times, Doncaster 2. You might remember Cameron Worsley took charge of Bradford's only championship win ever against Toulouse back in 2019 in his first championship season. What a game that was. Here we go then, Bradford, after finding touch just over halfway. They're 30 out from the Doncaster line after doing a heck of a lot of work in defence, draining the energy levels and the tanks as Keys finds Lawrence. Lawrence runs a straight line. 3 Doncaster players bring down the former Huddersfield Giant man. 19th season for Michael Lawrence. Keys kicks early. Someone's taken out in back play. Doncaster forced the ball dead over the line. I think the referee will be happy that it's a goal line dropout. I think it was Matty G who was saying that he was taken out and nudged by a Doncaster defender, as we see the footage on the replay. Well, yeah, Alex Sutcliffe, he did take Matty G out. The officials have missed that one, but it is going to be a goal line dropout. That's been forced by Joe Keys, the second dropout of the afternoon. And we've just hit the 20th minute mark, the first quarter. It's going to be a low-scoring affair. I did actually say this to a number of people this morning when they were asking me for predictions. And on a dry track, the prediction would have been totally different. But in weather like this, it is going to be a very low-scoring affair. Bradford might make me eat those words. Here we go with Meadows. Finds Fulton on this right-hand edge. He's 20 away with Bradford having 3 tackles left on this set of 6. Suter, dummy half to Meadows. To Donaldson. Donaldson wrapped up there by Matagi and Sutcliffe. 18 away from the line. 2 left. Keys finds Meadows. Meadows caught high in front of the post. It's a high tackle, and it will be Jacob Jones who is penalised there. So they were teammates at London last year, were Jones and Meadows. Now, does Lee Greenwood and Brian Noble look at getting 2 points? The decision will be negative. They're going to run the ball in and have another full set of 6 on that Doncaster line as Michael Lawrence is thrown and rolled over on his back, inches away from the line. Suter out a dummy half, misses out Sker to Donaldson. Donaldson draws in Kieran Gill, and Kieran Gill, he will go through an almighty gap, and that was created by the skill, the prowess of James Donaldson. The quick play, the ball, Donaldson went right, then he went centre, then he went left, and Kieran Gill skips past Craig Hall, Reece Lane, Jacob Jones, Adine Gebbie. It's his first try of the new competitive season, and Kieran Gill looks like he means business in 25. Bradford's leading try scorer in 22, 23 and 24. He perhaps might just have a little bit of an eye on Castleford potentially coming to Bardacard Odsal in a fortnight's time. His hometown club, the club he started his career at. It would be a very special occasion. Well, we've hit the 22nd minute here at Bardacard Odsal, and Bradford have extended their lead. Donaldson and then Gill. Kick predictors at 80%. Slap bang on here for Keys. It's 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post, and that could be a crucial 2 points that Joe Keys has just piloted between the posts. It's Bradford Bulls 12, Doncaster 4 here at Barbican. In the rain, in the sleet, in the mud. We're having a lot of fun here this afternoon. And certainly when you look at Kieran Gill, he has been one of Bradford's main consistent presences for the club in recent years. As we said, topping the try-scoring charts in each of his 3 seasons at the Bradford club. And as we said, the depth and quality of the Bradford squad this season might just see Kieran Gill have his toughest challenge yet to his try-scoring crown. So here we go. Bradford 12, Doncaster 4, as Richard Horne will be a bit disappointed that those 2 quick-fire back-to-back penalties that Doncaster conceded have resulted in the Bradford Bulls scoring points. And here goes George Tafua. He's 10 shy of halfway. Here is the jukebox as we see Meadows look for a 40-20, but that one's just going to catch the wind and it'll go towards Craig Hall. Hall will take it on his own 10-metre line, and that's a very good kick chase defence from the Bradford Bulls very early in the tackle count, because all of a sudden you're putting pressure now on some of those big Doncaster forwards and trying to tire him out. Here goes Brad Hay. He's absolutely flattened there by Eben Skur and Mitch Suter. Doncaster on tackle 4. They're still 20 out from their own try line. They're looking for that traction forward, but it's non-forthcoming as we see another very, very good line speed defensive raid from Bradford meeting those big Doncaster forwards head on. They're on the last tackle, still 30 out from their own line, deep inside their own half of the field, so they're going to need Connor Robinson to put boot to ball to try and construct the ladder to get him out of the hole. The bounce of the ball goes kindly to Jaden Ockimore, and Jaden Ockimore, as we all know, 9 tries last year from those 17 appearances. He's met Greg Burns, Louis McConnell and Jacob Jones in a 3-man tackle. Holmes out of dummy half, beats 1, beats 2. Burns just grabs hold of the collar and drags him down a metre inside the Doncaster half. Suter to Keys to Tafua on that left edge. He comes back inside and he won't get no love or money from Sutcliffe and McConnell, 2 of those former Leeds youngsters, as we see Michael Lawrence with possession in centre field. Along the line to Meadows, now to Fulton. Fulton wrapped up by Hay and Matagi. There's another quick play of the ball from Bradford. We'll see Meadows go sniping forward. Last tackle for Brian Noble's side. Donaldson and Gill. Those 2 early tries. They're on the last now. They're going to run it with Ronga Blake. Blake somehow smuggles the ball back towards Fulton. Doncaster have recovered possession. 5 away from their own try line. And I don't think Brian Noble or Lee Greenwood will be too displeased with that end of set there. They've turned over possession, Bradford, with a kick trying to get in the in-goal area, with Doncaster now back in possession, and they're on the 10-metre line on tackle number 2 as Eben Skur comes in and wraps up Sutcliffe. Burns is in there at dummy half as we see Reece Lynn now trying to help the Doncaster side out of their own 20-metre line. There's 3 or 4 Bradford defenders involved in that tackle as the former Wakefield man and skipper and captain of the Dons in 2025 just puts a little bit of a shrug on. Once again, Doncaster contained inside their own 30-metre line on that last tackle. So Craig Hall will put boot to ball, looks for another 40-20, but Bradford alert to the danger as we see Tom Holmes shift and drift across, and he will return possession back to Bradford's 25-metre line on tackle number 1. So out of dummy half, it's going to go to Tafua, and George Tafua will meet 3 Doncaster players head on, and we're just seeing Ronan Michael here and Logan Bayliss take off the waterproofs, about to come on the field as Brian Noble brings on his first changes of his new competitive season as Ockimore finds Blake. Blake 5 inside the Doncaster half on tackle number 4. Robinson and Hay, the 2 marker defenders there for Doncaster, who trail 12 points to 4. Meadows to Skur. Skur's wrapped up. 40 out. Last tackle, say the officials. There's options with Keys on the left, and Keys will target new signing Adine Gebe, who's let that one bounce. It's picked up by Bradford, but the referee will say in an offside position. So there was a half chance, a glimmer of a chance there, because Tafua had it and he was looking to give the ball out wide to Holmes, who would have had a running towards the corner very, very difficult to see on the replay, but certainly Kieran Gill and Tafua were there for when the ball landed. So, referee will stop the clock. Relatively low penalty count. Bradford 2, Doncaster 3. There's just a little bit of an issue here with back row forward, Alex Sutcliffe, who has a bit of claret coming from the nose, so he has been patched up, and that will allow everybody here at Odsal to just get a little bit of a breather. I'm almost certain on afternoons like this, you don't want to be bringing on the water bottles, you want to be bringing on electric heaters, or certainly those warm generating heat gloves that you can get from the supermarket. But certainly here at Doncaster, this penalty will see Riesling tap it on halfway, and he will carry Doncaster 12 metres inside the Bradford half of the field. Another quick play, the ball burns out a dummy half as Sui Matage is going to be brought down. The Kiwi came to the UK in 2018, remember, joining the Huddersfield Giants. Here goes McConnell now to Robinson. It's going to go to Jones. 25 appearances for London in the Super League last year. Good to speak to Mike Eccles and the Broncos at the season launch on Thursday. All those interviews, by the way, they're on the West Yorkshire Radio SoundCloud page. Paulie penetrates Bradford's 20-metre line. He's 10 away, and there's a tackle remaining here for the Dons as Burns finds Johnson. Now to Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe, 3 Bradford defenders wrap him up, roll him over, and this is the last tackle here for Doncaster. They trail the Bulls by 12 points to 4. We've got 14 minutes to half-time as the ball has ricocheted off a Bradford defender. Jason Tarley has just come on the field here, the PNG international. It's his 10th season at Doncaster, the 31-year-old. But the ball played the man according to the officials, so Bradford won't concede a set restart. They will instead have a play the ball. And here we see Ronan Michael and Logan Bayliss coming on. Ronan Michael making his competitive Bradford debut. So Bradford 25 shy of halfway here. Low scoring affair in the mud at Barnacard Odsal as we see the former Brisbane Bronco man Logan Bayliss carry Bradford 10 shy of halfway, centre field position. Suter now going down the middle again. Well, that was Ronan Michael, apologies. Tackle 3, tackle 4's Logan Bayliss. He's playing the ball in centre field on halfway. Keys is going to kick early, turning around Gebby and Hall. And look at this chase back here by Kieran Gill and Keys. And they will wrap Craig Hall up, 5 out from his own try line. Bradford 12, Doncaster 4 here at Barnacard Odsal. The pitch really starting to show a little bit of strain and fatigue from the inclement conditions. And now Bradford have forced Doncaster into a rare error. 15 out from their own try line. It was a big hit from Kieran Gill and an even bigger hit from Ronan Michael as the ball just squirmed out of the arms of Reece Lynn. So Bradford, can they capitalise on a rare error here from Doncaster? Well, the error counts Bradford 4, Doncaster 3. So I think every player wants to take, some plaudits for the way they've conducted themselves in such abysmal, adverse conditions. Bradford try number 3, Wonga Blake towards the line. Excitement from the fans. He's held up short there by Brad Hay and Jason Tarley. Ockenbaugh moves in there and acting half, fires it in centre field to Keys. Keys looks for a willing forward, finds one from Michael. He'll play the ball 5 metres out. Tackle 2. There's a Doncaster hand in at the ruck there. That might go Bradford's way. It will be head and feet to Bradford because Greg Burns, the officials are they're going to say that Bradford and Mitch Suter, there should have been onus on that, but you watch it back and, Greg Burns, he has reefed the ball away from Suter. I guess you're going to say there's a little bit of mitigation that the person with the ball in hand has to keep hold of it, but very, very difficult when that one's been reefed out. So Doncaster getting a favourable decision from the officials on that one. They've only got one look at it. We've got the benefit of the replay system here at Barnacard Odsal as once again this Bradford defence is well marshalled, well drilled, and the line speed is not giving Doncaster an inch. It is suffocating Bradford defence here as Paulie can make 6 or 7 metres forward, and he's 20 shy of halfway here, with Doncaster trailing Bradford by 12 points to 4 as Connor Robinson kicks early out of acting half straight down the touchline towards Holmes. Holmes from his own 5 metre line. He will meet Brad Hay head on, and with 11 minutes to go to half time here, we're about to see Jordan Lilly and Franklin Pellet come on the field. So 4 interchanges made in this first half by Brian Noble, and Lilly will come straight on there for Suter, Pellet for Skur. And Lilly's first involvement in this game, he played in all 33 games for Bradford last season, is a little pass on the outside towards Wonga Blake. The Fijian international plays the ball, 10 shy of halfway. Here goes Ronan Michael, up to halfway, centre field. Bradford 12, Doncaster 4. Keys kicks early on tackle number 4. Gebby's out of position. Tafua comes charging down. Hall takes it from his own try line. Is Hall heading behind the post? He almost certainly is, but he's just put the handbrake on at the 11th hour. And that's a great kick chase pressure there from the Bradford Bulls, because no sooner have Doncaster been moving the ball out from their own line. Connor Robinson clearly thinking that the kick on tackle 3 would turn Bradford around. Bradford have kicked early and turned Doncaster around. It's very much like the chess grandmasters here, with Keys and Robinson dictating where this one is heading. So Doncaster 25 away from their own line, 25 shy of halfway with Rhys Lynn. He's wrapped up there by Ronan Michael and Franklin Pelly, who's just come on the field, and that will once again be the last tackle here for Doncaster, and they are deep inside their own half. And they've not played the ball correctly. They've got to go back to play it inside their own 30. And Robinson from the Doncaster 30 sends it skywards. Holmes traps the ball with a foot. Goes about 15 metres laterally towards this main stand side, but he races across and recovers possession. So 10 minutes to go here to half-time at Bardacar Odsal. Bradford Bulls 12. Doncaster 4. We'll try our best to keep you up to date with all the latest scores elsewhere. West Bowling away to Sheffield. Halifax hosting Fatto Heath. The winner of that one will face the Catalan Dragons at home. Winner of this one. What a golden ticket Super League tie that would be. Bradford or Doncaster at home to the Castleford Tigers. Well, Franklin Pellet is brought down and felled just shy of halfway there by Jason Talley and Greg Burns. Here goes Logan Bayliss. Bradford on the last tackle, 5 inside the Doncaster half of the field, and they've been given a set restart here because Jason Talley was just laying all over Logan Bayliss, and the former Brisbane Broncos man was wanting a quick play the ball on what was the last tackle. And here come Bradford now with Meadows to Fulton, and Fulton, oh, big collision there. Fulton gets a quick play the ball in, and here goes Tom Holmes, and he's over the line. It's Tom Holmes, and that was quick thinking. There's a little bit of a flare up in the in-goal area. Wonga Blake, something's happened after the try was given, but it is Tom Holmes. It is his quick thinking. Holmes straight out of dummy half. He will skip past Greg Burns, Beretta Farrimore, and I'm not quite sure what caused the flare up there, but Wonga Blake had some pressure applied on his back, and the officials are still trying to sort out what has happened there. But Tom Holmes, Bradford's third try scorer in this first half. We're in the 32nd minute here at Bardacar Odsal, and I think when you look at Bradford's dominance in this first half, how they are controlling the game, I think that scoreboard is probably just desserts, and will please Brian Noble and Lee Greenwood that Bradford's dominance on proceedings has resulted in a favourable scoreboard and a little bit of daylight between these two fierce championship rivals. Well, when Bradford and Doncaster met last season, it was Bradford who won both league meetings. It was 38-4 here at Odsal and 18-4 away at the Eco Power, and that game at the Eco Power Arena was only really decided late on with those late Jordan Lilly and Tom Holmes tries. So certainly Tom Holmes likes to find the try line against Doncaster. Joe Keys will get the conversion attempt, and that one has just gone to the left-hand side of the post, waved away by the officials. Try scored 10 metres in from touch. Joe Keys' first miss of the afternoon. And on West Yorkshire Radio, syndicated coverage with Bulls TV, it is Bradford Bulls 16, Doncaster 4. Referee Cameron Worsley has halted proceedings. He just wants a word here with Wonga Blake on halfway, and I'm sure he's just laying the letter of the law between Connor Robinson and Wonga Blake, who came together. No silliness, cut it out. We can't quite lip read what Cameron Worsley said, but I'm looking at the body language and the hand actions and the gestures, and I think that's what he said. So Craig Hall gets Doncaster's restart up and away here, and no sooner has Tom Holmes come up with the try, he has dropped the ball stone cold on Craig Hall's restart. So another opportunity here for Doncaster to get themselves back in this game. They trail the Bradford Bulls at 16 points to 4. It was a spiralling, swirling bomb, and with 5 minutes to go to half-time, there's still a lot of time on this clock for Doncaster to do something on this set of 6. As Robinson to Johnston, now to Lynn, the former Hull and Wakefield man, second season under Richard Horne, wins a set restart for the away side here. Bradford guilty of holding down in the tackle. What can Doncaster do here? The tackle count resets. They're 12 away from that Bradford line as we see Tarley take the ball in after the Robinson offload. Pele and Lilly, the two Bradford defenders there. Burns out of dummy half to Robinson towards Johnston. Johnston floats it out wide towards Lynn. Lynn, big powerful centre. He will be held away from the Bradford line by Gill and Tafua. And Bradford will be penalised here for hands in at the ruck, so close to the Bradford line. It's a fourth penalty for Doncaster here, and more pressure on this Bradford Bulls defence to absorb so close to half-time. There's 3.5 minutes to go here. Bradford 16, Doncaster 4 at Bardacard Odsal. The prize, a home tie, a lucrative home tie against Super League opponents, Castleford Tigers, who were in action on Friday evening. More on that game at half-time. But here we go now with Burns out of dummy half towards Johnston, and he's doing it all himself there. Is the former Castleford and Halifax half. He'll be brought down just to the left of centre field. Burns goes towards Tarley, but Lilly and Fulton alert to the danger there, bringing down Jason Tarley. Burns is in there at dummy half. The hooter sounded a little bit early. Robinson kicks towards Gebby. It's on a power play because the hooter sounded. But George Tafua, he puts his body on the line there, jumps higher than Lynn, higher than Gebby. They have not managed to beat Bradford in their last 14 meetings, stretching back to 1973. That is when Doncaster last beat Bradford, 1973, 18 points to 7 at Tattersfield, for those who might be of a certain age and remember that ground. So Franklin Pelly will play the ball for Bradford just outside of the 20-metre line, and Bradford with that healthy, not commanding, but healthy half-time lead of 16 points to 4. And as Lilly will fire the ball to Michael. Michael's 10 shy of halfway, 15 in from this main stand side. I guess the big news this afternoon is James Donaldson on his second debut for the club. 90 seconds it took for James Donaldson to breach the Doncaster line. Bradford on the fifth and last tackle on halfway. Keys will drill that one straight over the dead ball line. He holds his hand up. Bradford set their defensive stall on the Doncaster 30. Doncaster in no real rush to get proceedings underway. And now they will have what might be crucial, that extra tackle, and it will be the Kiwi Beretta Farimo, the former Parramatta and Castleford man, who takes the zero tackle. Although Doncaster have come up with the error here, and that was Ronan Michael and Zach Fulton. They've just absolutely gone straight there for Connor Robinson. Ball's been knocked on, and that is just exactly what Brian Noble and Lee Greenwood would have wanted right at the start of this second half. Scrum, head and feed to the Bulls, 30 metres out from the Doncaster line. Well, if Bradford can get a fourth try at the start of this second half, that might just put this one in the bed pile. Who knows? Doncaster certainly showed a lot of resilience and fight in this first 40. Richard Horne will be hoping that continues as George Tafua takes tackle one and wins a set restart right early on Bradford's fresh set of 6 after that error from Connor Robinson. Franklin Pelly goes down the left-hand side. 12 metres out from the Doncaster line. Lillian at dummy half. Now to Keys. Keys back to Ronan Michael, who powers between Louis McConnell and Suet Matangi as he kept on a possession. Cameron Worsley says yes. He's 2 metres out from the line as Jordan Lilly takes the line on out of dummy half. But Craig Hall alert to the danger there from one of Bradford's pivots. Lilly will play the ball underneath the post. It's going to go towards Keys to Meadows, and Bradford wrapped up 5 away from that Doncaster line on tackle 4. 1 left on this fresh set of 6 here for the Bradford Bulls. And once again, Doncaster showing a lot of resilience in defence to keep the Bulls at bay. Last tackle, 5 metres out. They've done well of Richard Horne's side, but Keys runs it to Holmes. Power play to Gill, and Gill is denied by Reece Lynn. Bradford will turn over possession 5 metres out from the line, although referee Cameron Worsley is going to say it will be a play the ball on the 10. So Lynn will see the ball go to Suet Matangi, and he is wrapped up in the Odsal mud there. Very difficult conditions for both sets of players this afternoon, it must be said. But Lilly and that Bulls line speed just herring away with Franklin Pelly and Ronan Michael. Since Pelly and Michael have come on, and also Logan Bayliss, that's just given Bradford some further energy, enthusiasm in defence. Doncaster still have a lot of strike from some of their big players. Paulie, Sui Matangi, Jacob Jones. But once again, Doncaster forced to kick early in the count because Bradford have got them penned deep inside their own half. So Robinson to Holmes. Holmes will take possession into Bradford, 25 out from their own line, centre field. Here goes Jaden Okinbaugh, who would want to be a winger on an afternoon like this. Very heavy, very difficult to get that traction going. But here goes George Tafua, who takes the pass on the inside from Lilly. Jacob Jones, Burns, Hay in defence for Doncaster as Bradford are up and over halfway. And here goes Ronan Michael, the close season signing from the York Knights. Made his Super League debut for Huddersfield back in 2022. And here goes one of those human bulldozers, Franklin Pelly, but he's had the ball stolen. Brad Hay is adjudged to have stolen the ball from Franklin Pelly. There was Greg Burns and Brad Hay involved in that 2-man tackle, and all of a sudden the penalty count is inching closer. Bradford's 3rd penalty. Doncaster have 4. Keys will drill the ball into touch, and this is good concerted pressure here from the Bradford Bulls, playing with maturity and patience. So we'll see what happens here, but the urge was just too much there for Brad Hay as Franklin Pelly went on one of those big destructive runs down the middle. Here goes Logan Bayliss. Made his Bradford debut in the 12-all draw against Toulouse last season, and now Sui Matangi has stolen the ball in the tackle, and it's a penalty right in front of the post. Bradford not going to go for 2. They're going to run it in for more, just like they did in the first half, which resulted in that second score for Kieran Gill. Is lightning about to strike twice at a dark, gloomy, overcast Bardacard Odsal in the depths of January. Lilly short ball to Bayliss. Bayliss has spilt possession. That was Craig Hall who come in and put a big hit up there on Logan Bayliss. So remains Bradford 16, Doncaster 4. 6th error, Bradford's thirst of this second half. And with 6 minutes gone here at Bardacard Odsal, right at the start of this second half. It remains Bradford Bulls 16, Doncaster 4. Donaldson inside 90 seconds. Keys converting. Then it was Gill. Then Holmes. Greg Burns narrowing the gap for Doncaster after a Bradford error had taken Doncaster into the Bradford half. So, what can Doncaster do here? I think this will be the pleasing aspect from Brian Noble and Lee Greenwood, is just the utter dominance from Bradford in restricting Doncaster with ball in possession. They've had very little possession and territory, but that might change as Connor Robinson takes on the Bradford defence. But Lilly is alert to that run there from Connor Robinson. Connor Robinson and the Bradford Bulls go way back to the 2018 season and the Bradford York classics from that year, as Louis McConnell takes the offload and he will skip 10 metres upfield inside the Bradford half of the field as Robinson now finds Sutcliffe, former Leeds Featherstone man. He's wrapped up 25 out, but Cameron Worsley says Matty G, I believe, has gone high on Alex Sutcliffe. So Doncaster, fifth penalty of the afternoon for them, and they now will have a fresh set of 6. 25 out from the Bradford line because of the ferocity and strength of the wind. They're not going to kick towards touch. They're just going to tap the ball. And it's Maffei who's just come on the field. The former rugby union man, had spells at Castleford and RLFC. And Maffei, he will try and help Doncaster get some forward momentum here. What can Johnston do here? Draws in the Bulls' defence, finds Lynn. Lynn runs lateral across the face of the post, finally brought down in a free-man tackle, just to the left of centre field. 3 tackles left here for Doncaster, who trail Bradford 16 points to 4. Robinson puts boot to ball, comes off Wonga Blake's leg. Wonga Blake recovers possession for Bradford. The referee not happy, and it's another penalty to Doncaster here, and they're going to say that Connor Robinson had his shirt pulled as he followed up that kick chase. It remains 13 on 13. The boos and jeers from the Bradford supporters will tell you they're not happy or best pleased with that decision. But it was the touch judge on the far stand side. It wasn't Cameron Worsley. He was the one who came on and alerted Cameron Worsley, the match referee, to that foul play. So another penalty and more pressure here for Doncaster as Sui Matagi goes straight into Pele, Lilly, also Bayliss involved in that tackle. They're 2 metres out here. You can see the steam coming off the breaths of the players as we see Johnston drop the ball off there and Louis McConnell out there underneath the post. Can Doncaster get points on the board here? Suet Matangi is literally inches away from breaching that Bradford Bulls try line. It's going to go from Burns to Johnston to Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe goes past Lilly, fronts up, goes past Fulton. Michael wraps him up, ball and all. 5 metres out, underneath the post. They go over on that left-hand side with Hall. Hall's lost the ball. It's kicked forward by Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh's away. And the referee is going to say, well, it's a controversial call, is this one. He'll say it's come off a Bradford hand, and it's a scrum to the Doncaster Dons here. Oh, Wonga Blake saying he's not got his hand to the ball. It's very fine margin stuff. It's now going to be a 5th consecutive set of 6 here. So it is a scrum. They're saying Wonga Blake had knocked the ball on. We've just been fortunate to see the replay, and it looked very, very... that was not as clear cut, but Bradford, they're having to show that resilience in defence. It's getting a thorough test here as Reece Lynn is wrapped up there by Keys and Gill. 8 metres out from that Bradford try line. Surely it's now where Doncaster breached the Bulls line, is it? As we see Maffei, he goes straight into Michael and Pele, and they've got 3 tackles left here. Bradford hold out here. This is the moment of the game. Burns out of dummy half, tries to reach out, but Michael and Holmes and Lilly say no. Tackle 4 gone for Doncaster. It goes back towards Johnston, to Robinson, to Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe runs at Bayliss, Lilly and Pele. He's underneath the post. Here is the former Leeds Rhinos man. And look at this for suffocating hungry Bradford Bulls defence. The 2 metres out here, Doncaster. It goes from Burns to Robinson. Robinson kicks on the last. Holmes will deal with that one. And that's probably the moment where we can say it's the play of the afternoon, because Craig Hall is having a fisticuff session here with Tom Holmes. Connor Robinson's also involved there. I think the penalty's going to go to Bradford here, and surely there's a little bit of frustration from Richard Horn's side that has crept in there. They've had 5 consecutive sets of 6 on the Bradford line. They've not been able to breach the Bradford line, and then we've just seen Craig Hall, Connor Robinson laying on Tom Holmes, giving him a little bit of a facial. The officials come together, the clock stopped. I think this is almost certainly going to be a penalty to the Bradford Bulls. Well, I'll take the report from the touch judge, Will Cameron Worsley. This will allow the two sides just to see that intensity drop and evaporate a little bit. It was great positioning from Tom Holmes, because Connor Robinson looked like he was going to pass the ball and involve Reese, Lynn and potentially Eddie Ngebe over on the far stand side. But in the end, he put boot to ball, and it's going to be a penalty to Bradford for Tom Holmes being held in the tackle. So we've seen a bit of a high penalty count in the last couple of moments. Very good defence from the Bradford Bulls. When I spoke to Lee Greenwood in the pre-match press conference ahead of this game, you know, there has been, and rightfully so, a lot of highlight and perhaps fixation on the Bradford Bulls defence, but you've just seen there just how fierce and dominant that is. Doncaster, 6 sets on the Bradford line, couldn't breach. And now Bradford turning defence into attack after that penalty, and the 10 inside the Doncaster half, 40 out. Lily's in there at dummy half. Now the keys. Here goes Ronan Michael, the Ireland international. He's had a very good pre-season as Ronan Michael, as he gets to his feet, and he'll play the ball. Here goes Holmes, trying to dart his way and pirouette his way past this Doncaster defence. He's 22 metres out, just to the left of centre field. Lily goes short side. This will be tackle 4 coming up as it goes from Keys to G to Tafua. Tafua's wrapped up, and this is the last, 5th and last tackle here for Bradford as Kieran Gill pinches one out of dummy half. He's claiming the ball on the line. The officials will say Kieran Gill is short, and Bradford turn over possession a metre, or millimetres in fact, out from that Doncaster try line. We've had no points scored in this second half at Bardacard Odsal. It remains Bradford Bulls 16, Doncaster 4. We've had 13 gone of this second half. And Bradford now have forced Doncaster over the dead ball line, back in goal. Look at that from Joe Keys, Ronan Michael, Jordan Lilly, Logan Bayliss. Doncaster were playing the ball 5 metres out from the road line. It went to Brad Hay, and Brad Hay, well, he's got half the Bradford side, including Franklin Pelly and Kieran Gill, forcing him back over the dead ball line. That'll be goal line dropout number 3 that the Bulls have conceded. And that is the dominance here of this Bradford side. Hall forced to drop out on the full, in front of the post. Brian Noble, 2 fingers in the air. He wants 2 points. And I think Bradford will take their head coach's role, and they will take 2 points, which will put further daylight between the two sides. Brian Noble clearly knows the conditions. Very, very difficult for both sides. And I think at the very least it'll be important Bradford come away from this period where they've had to defend those 6 consecutive sets. They've then gone up the field and put pressure on Doncaster, forced them into the error, and it will be Joe Keys who will attempt the penalty conversion from right in front of the post, although it is the familiar figure of Jordan Lilly who is putting the boot on the ball. So Jordan Lilly about to get on the scoreboard for the first time in season 2025. Lilly, of course, last season featured in every game. He played 33 games for Bradford. He was 137 from 171. He was kicking at 80%. Bradford's first points of the second half from the boot of Jordan Lilly. Bradford Bulls inch further in front. Crucially for Brian Noble's side, they lead by 3 scores. It's Bradford Bulls 18, Doncaster 4. So it is Bradford who troubled the scoreboard operator right at the start of this second half. Lily goes from one, and Bradford have a crucial 14-point lead here. It is a bitterly cold, chilly Barricade Odsal. Who would want to be a rugby league player out in the conditions that we are witnessing? It's been relentless driving rain from around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Puddles starting to emerge on the field, and Cameron Worsley, after Bradford have dealt with the restart, have caught Doncaster offside. So another penalty that has been conceded, and it's now 6 penalties apiece as Bradford will fire the ball up to halfway. What can Bradford do here? Is there more points coming after points? Lily's in there at dummy half. Ronan Michael takes free. Doncaster defenders out of that defensive line. Lily's in there at dummy half to Keys. Keys goes through a half gap there. Good alert defence from Sutcliffe, but Bradford now have the momentum. They've got the roll on as Lily goes out of dummy half, and he will take on Louis McConnell. They're now 10 metres out with Franklin Pelly as Franklin Pelly is brought down 8 metres out. They're on the last tackle, Bradford, looking to go back-to-back here at Barricade Odsal in this Challenge Cup tie. They're going to run it on the power play. Ball comes out the back door. It's Skiddle stuff here from the Bulls. Ronan Michael to Meadows. Meadows crossfield kick, looking for Ockimbaugh. Ockimbaugh palms it back, and Bradford are going to score with Zach Fulton. It is a spectacular try from the Bradford Bulls on the power play. It was Meadows to Ockimbaugh. Ockimbaugh had that height advantage over Eddie Ngebe. He palmed the ball back on the inside, and Zach Fulton, 14 tries last season, he's up and running in 25, and that is a costly penalty by Richards Hornside, because that has allowed Bradford to fire the ball into touch. And the last thing you want to do with a Bradford side that has all that forward power and momentum of your Lawrences, your Skurs, your Fulton, your G's, your Baylisses, your Pellets and your Michaels, is allow them cheap field position. So Fulton, he gets Bradford's 4th try of the afternoon, and that might just be the moment here where Bradford can start thinking a little bit more, with a little bit more clarity of potentially that big Challenge Cup afternoon at Barricade Odsal, when the Super League side, Castleford Tigers and Danny Maguire, will come to Barricade Odsal. It'll also be very reminiscent of what happened in 2019 when Leeds came here. Certainly you'd be expecting 6,000 or 7,000 for that one. So, long way to go in this one. We're just shy of the hour mark, but more daylight between the two sides. Kick predictor, 84%, as Jordan Lilly will add on another 2 points. And all of a sudden, Bradford are taking control of this one. 8 points in 3 minutes. It's Bradford 24, Doncaster 4. Fulton joins the try-scoring list of Donaldson, Gill and Holmes. And Lily is 2 from 2 with the boot. Well, it's looking like Lily and Keys might be sharing the goal-kicking responsibilities this year, as Bradford have knocked the ball on from the restart. Well, once again, Craig Hall's restart causing pandemonium at the back. And no sooner have Bradford, not saying fallen in love with themselves, they've come up with error number 8 of the afternoon. So by no means a perfect offensive display, but I'm sure Brian Noble will look to work and fix that. But then when you look at the puddles and the mud and the overall state of what the players are playing in, I think that's strong mitigation itself. But of course, Brian will look to improve and drive those standards, as will Lee Greenwood and Keith Senior. So Doncaster 10 metres out from that Bradford scrum after the error, I believe it was James Meadows, but some of the shirts just making some of the players indistinguishable, all caked and covered in mud. What can Doncaster do here? Miskie's just come on the field for the final 20 minutes. Bradford 20 minutes to hold on. They've got a comfortable 20-point lead, but here come Doncaster now with Miski trying to force his way over and power his way underneath the post. He's rolled over on his black. He's got the white scrum cap there, and that was Franklin Pelly and Ronan Michael doing a great defensive display to stop the Kiwi from breaching Bradford's line. And all of a sudden, after that error on the restart, Bradford find themselves defending that last tackle play here from Doncaster. So Craig Hall into the in-goal area looking for Gebby, but once again it's another penalty, a cheap penalty conceded because Doncaster are offside inside the 10. Tom Holmes dealt with that Craig Hall kick, but the minute there was contact there from that kick chase, it was Jason Tarley who was in an offside position. Bradford awarded penalty number 7 of the afternoon. So, Bradford 24, Doncaster 4 here at Barnacard Hudsall, West Yorkshire Radio, West Yorkshire Rugby League, syndicated coverage with Bulls TV. As always, the man of the match vote opens around about now. Matty G takes the ball from Keys, wrapped up there by McConnell and Miski. Out of dummy half from Lilly. Logan Bayliss. Oh, big collision between Bayliss there, Louis McConnell and Miski. Bradford 25 metres out from that Doncaster try line as Joe Keys misses out Skur, who's back on. Kick comes in from Meadows. It's come off a Doncaster man, but the referee will say that wasn't played at, so fair is fair. Doncaster alert to that kick there, and it was Johnston who was quickest to react. And now Bradford are guilty of going high above the chest. And I think it's Matty G who's going to be penalised for that high tackle there on Adine Gebby. So another penalty to the visitors. And it will be 7 penalties apiece now here at Barnacard Hudsall. And this is probably heading towards last chance of our stuff for Doncaster, despite there being 18 minutes to go. They're not going to have too many spells of pressure and possession. There's still a long way to go in this one. And, you know, I think it's the fact that Bradford have defended so well with so much energy, enthusiasm, a lot of cohesion and connectivity, a lot of shape. Although the ball has been stolen here in the tackle under the nose of the match official. It's Eben Skur who's penalised. And the ball being reefed, stolen. Jordan Lilly also involved in that tackle. And that is going to allow Isaac Miski, the 30-year-old who's just come on the field, to tap the ball here for Richard Horn's side. So 8-7 the penalty count in favour of Doncaster. That might be something to ask Brian about as we see the former Hull FC and Castleford man, Myfi, is brought down just outside the Bradford 10 as we see Miski give the ball here towards Sutcliffe. What can Bradford do in defence? They force the error. That's what Bradford can do. And look what it means. Ronan Michael, Logan Bayliss involved in that 2-man tackle. And there was nothing there that the former Leeds youngster could do because Ronan Michael, Logan Bayliss, they just went straight in, and it was the contact with Bayliss and Michael bringing the former Leeds youngster down in the mud. And that is Doncaster's 9th error of the afternoon. So, Bradford 24, Doncaster 4 here at Barnacard Hudsall. In the mud, as we see Keys and Meadows linked with Tafua, and now Tafua has dropped the ball. So it's getting a little bit sloppy and scrappy out there. That's Bradford's 9th error, incidentally. So a level error count. Scrum, head and feet to Doncaster centre field. The clock and the scoreboard firmly against the South Yorkshire Championship side. Is there anything left from Richard Horn's side? I think by and large you'll be pleased with aspects of the performance. But look at that. Who's that? Is that Logan Bayliss? Who's just gone straight into the Doncaster forward and the ball's been knocked forward? Referee's going to bring everybody back here. Well, they had the scrum, Doncaster. It was Johnston who fed it. Miski took it out. It went towards Jason Tarley. Tarley knocked it on. And that was Zach Fulton. Oh, what a hit that was from Zach Fulton on Jason Tarley. Doncaster up to error number 10 of the afternoon. Well, I know the RFL will want to confirm the dates and times of those Challenge Cup ties later on this evening, or certainly by tomorrow, but there is a BBC slot on the Saturday at 3:15, and you've got to probably say, albeit I do think if York were to go and beat Keighley next weekend, not saying that's going to happen, if they were to, I think York against Hulkinson Rovers might just rival potentially Bradford against Castleford. So either way, I think those are the two ties that get shown on the BBC. One will clearly be the Saturday, one will be the Sunday. Here we go. Bradford, 24 points to 4 up here. Eben Skirt attracting a lot of attention there from Sui Matangi. Paulie as well back out there on the field. Logan Bayliss now up to halfway for the Bradford Bulls. It's been a bit of a sloppy, scrappy stop-start second half by Bradford, not really being able to find their rhythm due to the inclement weather conditions as Joe Keys kicks on the last, dead in goal. Bradford set their defensive stall up on the 30, tap on the 20, and that extra tackle set from Doncaster. Cameron Worsley just telling Craig Hall he's got to wait for his players to go back inside the Doncaster 20 before he can tap the ball. So, 0 tackle there by Adine Gebby, the former Whitehaven man, signing in the off-season. 10 tries in 16 appearances for John Tigali's Whitehaven last year. Certainly a lot of energy, size and power, but he's not really been effective this afternoon against the energy, size and power of the Bradford pack. Louis McConnell. Well, that was Jordan Lilly, who's just fired himself like a heat-seeking missile with Eben Sker involved in that tackle as well. Doncaster know their chances of a comeback and a fight back are slowly ebbing away by the minute, because we've got 12 minutes to go here and they're down by 24 points to 4. Craig Hall on the last, a high-hanging, spiralling bomb here. Doncaster and Bradford let that one bounce, and that is really unfortunate there for my fight, because Doncaster have let it bounce. It's had a bit of reverb on it. It's gone 15 metres back towards the Doncaster line. I'm not sure who it was. I think it's come off the boot or the chest of Craig Hall into a Doncaster player, and that is a penalty to Bradford. They're 8th of the afternoon, and a chance now for Bradford to really close out this game, because they lead 24 points to 4, and with 11 minutes to go here at Barricade Odsall, they've got a full set 40 metres out as Keys now gives it to Bayliss. Bayliss 25 out just to the left of centre field. James Meadows leaving the field here for Mitch Suter. Keys now with Lilly, with Holmes. Holmes has taken a big clattering hit, and he's come up with an error. His third of the game. Doncaster's big middle units on the edges there, throwing themselves around in the closing moments of this one. So, no sooner Doncaster have come up with a penalty or an error, Bradford do likewise. It's going to be very difficult to probably gain an honest reflection from this game. Bradford certainly doing enough in that first half with those 3 tries from all that territory and pressure and dominance, but certainly Doncaster, they've not waved that white flag at any iota as Craig Hall kicks from the base of the scrum, and that will be Eddie Ngebe breathing down the neck of the Bradford defenders, who have to scurry back, and one of those is Jaden Ockimbaugh, and now he's met the Doncaster defence and's been forced back 10 metres, so Richard Horn will be pleased with that effort, but Bradford was certainly alert to Craig Hall's box of tricks there with that early kick from the scrum. Suter out of dummy half to Sker. 5 inside the Doncaster half of the field. Michael Lawrence, his 19th season as a professional rugby league player, carries Bradford just outside the Doncaster 30. Suter to Keys. Logan Bayliss, Matty G, Ronan Michael. They've all gone through a lot of work in this second half. They're on the last tackle, 20 out. Keys targets Gebby. Gebby takes that one under pressure there from Kieran Gill. And Ronan Michael And Nadine Gebbit has gone down here, the PNG international, under that two-man tackle from Kieran Gill and Ronan Michael. So the match official Cameron Worsley will stop the clock here. And it is Bradford who have a healthy lead on the scoreboard with 10.5 to go at Bardacar Odsal. They lead Doncaster by 24 points to 4. Certainly, in terms of cold, wet weather rugby league, Bradford have a little bit to work on. Interesting to see how much focus Brian Noble puts on the inclement weather here and whether he's happy. I don't think any head coach, Wayne Bennett, even to the great Alex Murphy and the great late Peter Fox, would have been expecting a clean error column in conditions like this. But there is a concern for Dean Gebbit, the 29-year-old utility fullback wing centre, as we said, who brings a lot of value and power to Richard Horne's side for 2025. He did leave the Port Moresby Vipers before that switch to Cumbria last year. And he will leave the field with a HIA. So he will play no further part because that is a 15-minute HIA. So Doncaster will have to bring on the changes. Referee Cameron Worsley places that incident on report. So that incident will be reviewed by the Rugby Football League disciplinary panel. Very difficult to tell from the footage that we saw. It just looked a very, very fair physical challenge with Kieran Gill and Ronan Michael bringing the PNG international down. But play continues here. So 10 minutes exactly to go. Bradford 24, Doncaster 4. And Doncaster on tackle 3. And there's 10 metres out from their own line. They've just had no pressure or possession apart from that 6 set on the Bradford line, which Bradford managed to successfully repel at all. And that has been the tale. It's been the dominance of the Bradford forwards restricting Doncaster's go forward. And you almost suspect if it is dry weather rugby league, the score blows out more. 24-4, Doncaster come up with another error on the last tackle. It is a forward pass out of dummy half from Isaac Miskey, and that now will see Bradford play the ball 20 out from the Doncaster line. So we're in the final 10 minutes of this one. Those tries in the first half from Donaldson, Gill, Holmes, Fulton with a very special effort in this second half. The assist from Ockenbort and the penalty from Lilly. That has got Bradford in a very comfortable commanding position. Souter now, 20 out to Keys, to Gill. Hay and Tarlett bring down Gill, 15 away. Souter once again in there at acting half, finds Keys. Keys takes the line on himself and he's 10 metres out. Here is Joe Keys. Bradford on tackle 4, 1 left. 9 minutes to go, 24 points to 4 as we see Lilly to Fulton. And Fulton's wrapped up there on what is now the 5th and last tackle. 5 away. Souter into the in-goal area. Doncaster have come up with possession. But Bradford have come up with possession, but the referee is going to say Doncaster made no real attempt to play at the ball. And Mitch Souter will have to hand the ball to Beretta Farrimore, who will play the ball for Doncaster deep inside their own at 10-metre line. Well, Doncaster have come up with error number 13, and this might be quite a difficult listen for those listening back at home. Certainly the error count now for both sides is in double figures. Bradford at 10, Doncaster at 13. And I guess Brian Noble, Lee Greenwood, the challenge will be for Bradford to try and get potentially a 5th score here, which probably does put a little bit of icing on the cake. So 8 minutes to go from the scrum. Bradford about to score try number 5 of the afternoon. It won't come from Holmes because Brad Hay is alert to the danger there. Kieran Gill is in there at dummy half. Lilly to Ronan Michael. And look at this from Ronan Michael. Bouncing off 1, off 2. Finally wrapped up 5 in from the far stand side as Fulton goes in and acts in half. In centre field to Keys. Keys looks and finds Logan Bayliss, who's brought down 10 metres out underneath the Doncaster post. Souters in there again at dummy half. They're going over on the short side with Fulton. Fulton caught on the shoulder, according to the officials, and is literally 2 metres away from the Doncaster line there is Fulton. So, Lilly, ball in hand, kicks into the in-goal area, and Bradford will score with Joe Keys. Joe Keys on his return to action for the Bradford Bulls. It's Lilly to Keys. Keys, he was like the ultimate ambush predator. He just slotted in behind that Doncaster defensive line, and he beats Riesling, Craig Hall, Ben Johnston, downward pressure, and Joe Keys on his return to the Bradford Bulls. He will get Bradford's 5th try, and this one is blowing out here. A 5th try for Bradford underneath the post. Joe Keys, Bradford 28, Doncaster 4. We have got 6 minutes left on the clock here at Bardacard Odsal. Bradford can start dreaming now of that mouth-watering, appetising 3rd round tie against the Castleford Tigers. Kick predictor on 100% here, as we see Jordan Lilly attempt to continue his record with the boot in difficult conditions in the second half. This will almost certainly be the nail in Doncaster's coffin this afternoon. Bradford Bulls 30, Doncaster 4. That mouth-watering tie will take place at Bardacard Odsal in a fortnight's time. Bradford will host the Castleford Tigers. Get ready. The heartstrings might be just about to be pulled, just like they were in 2019 when Bradford hosted the Leeds Rhinos. There wasn't a dry eye in the stadium that afternoon as Connor Robinson, with 5 minutes left on the clock. It's been a good battling display from Doncaster. A lot of people will look at the scoreboard. You need to understand the conditions, the state of the pitch. Bradford have not had it their own way. They've had to work incredibly hard for every point. But a lot of what Bradford have done right on the field this afternoon has come from that dominance in defence, the line speed, not allowing Doncaster to play. And look at that, the speed and haste there of George Tafua on the restart. 20 out from his own line. Bradford leading 30 points to 4. Job done. He wants more, and that has forced Doncaster to concede a 10th penalty. So 10 penalties to 8 now in favour of the Bulls. And Bradford scoring might not just be over yet, because there's still time on the clock, and it will be Fulton on tackle number 1, although he's being pushed back here by Jacob Jones. And Louis McConnell in that two-man tackle. He'll get to his feet. He'll play the ball. Souter now towards Keys. Keys takes the line on. He's brought down there by Watson Bowers. And Bowers wraps him up just outside the 10. They're going to go across the face here with Lilly, who misses out Lawrence, finds Pele. Pele draws excitement from the crowd. He's 5 metres out. Here is the Kiwi, Franklin Pele. Quick play the ball. It's going to go from Souter to Keys, towards Wonga Blake. He's wrapped up there, ball and all by Beretta Farimo, and there's still 10 metres out here, Bradford, as Keys has it, 15 out, gives it to Lawrence, a bit of a standing start there. Lawrence drives in, and that's good leg work there. Lawrence has made 15 metres, he's 5 metres out, and all of a sudden Bradford on the last tackle once again as the ball goes out to Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh can't pick it up off the bootlaces. It's a flat end of set there from the Bulls. Not that Brian Noble or Lee Greenwood will focus too much on that one. Bradford turnover possession, 10 away from the Doncaster line. And the scoreboard here at Bardacard Odsal reads Bradford Bulls 30, Doncaster 4. And we are in the closing moments of this game here this afternoon with just under 3 minutes to go. And certainly based on what we've seen and what you've listened to, I think we can confirm the first West Yorkshire Radio Bulls TV man of the match of the new season is Ronan Michael. And oh boy, what a great acquisition he is going to be. You know, he's come on late on in that first half. He stayed on the field for the vast majority of it, and he has put in another telling contribution, just like he did on his first Bradford outing against Keighley in the Joe Phillips Memorial last month. So what can Doncaster do? Can they try and build something here? They host Wakefield Trinity at the Eco Power next Sunday, but unfortunately they've just come up against a very, very dominant, defiant wall of red, amber and black. And Bradford have simply not allowed Richard Horne's side to play. As we said early doors, it might come down to hunger and enthusiasm, and certainly the Bradford Bulls have shown that in abundance this afternoon. As we said, Brian Noble, it's an incredible period of time, 6,859 days, 18 years, 9 months and 9 days to be precise. Brian will start his second reign as head coach of the Bulls with a win, just like he did when he signed off back in April 2006 with that big 52-18 win over the Huddersfield Giants. Bradford in possession here with George Tafua, and he's wrapped up 5 shy of halfway. 90 seconds left on the clock. Suda out a dummy half to Lawrence. Lawrence will get inside the Doncaster half of the field, a couple of metres forward. Bradford certainly looking a lot sharper as this game's gone on with their attacking shape and structure, as Pele is brought down there by Watson Boas. Also Louis McConnell involved in that tackle. Keys kicks early on 4, turns around Craig Hall. Hall has to get out of his own in-goal area. He's going to meet Keys and Suter. But he does well there, does Craig Hall. Just puts the handbrake on, takes the tackle, and Doncaster back in possession here, albeit trailing by 30 points to 4. And we have less than a minute on the clock. And the hooter about to count us down here at Bardacar Odsal. It is going to be victory for the Bradford Bulls in this Challenge Cup second round tie. There goes the hooter. Bradford through to the third round of the Challenge Cup, and they set up that mouth-watering, appetising third round tie against the Castle.